Hey little freak, welcome back to my corporate survival guide series. This time we are tackling a whole bunch of things with a special focus on what I believe is the only thing you need to have a successful career, especially in 2025 and beyond. You already know my style, unpretentious, no bullshit. I'm gonna hop right on into it. But before I do that, if you don't know me, my name is Emily Durham. I'm a careers content creator, the host and producer of the Straight Shooter Recruiter podcast. Basically, I make content to help you thrive in your 9 to 5 and beyond. So if you're into that, join the family. Honestly, I'm just here to help you get paid and talk a little shit with you while I sit on the floor. I've worked in recruitment for many years. I've worked in human resources for many years. I can definitively tell you what is the one character trait that determines whether or not someone is actually going to get a promotion or just generally get a raise and get ahead in their career. What it actually comes down to 9 times out of 10 is your likability and your visibility. Likability is pretty self-explanatory. It's whether or not people at work, especially the important people who make decisions, actually like working with you. And visibility is all about the great work you're doing actually being seen and recognized. You fundamentally cannot survive your first corporate job, or honestly any corporate job, without mastering these two things. Now, I've got an entire video dedicated to workplace likability, but here are the short things that you have to do, like literally effective today. First of all, nobody is more unliked or disliked than someone who doesn't know how to stop talking. You need to practice being a much better listener than you are a speaker, especially in the context of work. You do not want to be the person who is always talking over others in meetings, feeling like they need to chime in and interject every single time there's a conversation, or the person who monopolizes every single one-on-one meeting with your boss. Because newsflash, the loudest person in the room oftentimes isn't the most qualified, isn't the smartest, and usually isn't the most well-liked either, because you clearly lack self-reflection and spatial awareness. Likability has a lot more to do with how you make people feel than anything else. So when you are having small talk and engaging with people in the office, make sure when you do ask questions, it's very focused on them. Ask how their weekend was. Remember little things about their life, like their kids' names or the hobbies their friends are doing or whatever, and ask directed, pointed questions every Monday. Hey Susie, I know your kids do swimming lessons on Saturdays. How did it go? Hey Bob, you mentioned your girlfriend was hosting that dinner party. How did the steak turn out? Those are questions that make people feel like you're actually paying attention to them. And little spoiler, I've said this before on this channel, but I'm a big believer in keeping a notebook of all the things people tell you. And I know that's creepy as fuck, but ultimately it's one of the best ways for you to prove that you remember things and build those authentic relationships. Speaking of small talk, it's always really important to ask people how they're doing. Don't jump right into business when you join meetings. Ask how their day is, ask how they're doing, and then mosey on into the subject. You're going to be perceived as rude and unlikable if you don't do these kind of corporate bullshit activities at the beginning of meetings. Wearing a lot of really heavy perfume is gonna make you disliked. I don't care how good your perfume is, someone's gonna hate it. It's not a good look. And as much as I love workplace gossip, you being known as a gossip, say it with me. It's hard to like someone who's constantly talking shit. Unless you're me, because I do kind of personally love that, but try to refrain from being a negative Nelly in the office. It's not cute. And now, if you really want to survive in your corporate career, you need to be a strategic socializer. It doesn't mean that you need to go to every single work event and every single social. What it means is you need to be seen in the places that matter. So if your team is doing a small lunch and it's only your immediate coworkers and not your boss, and you're feeling burnt out, that's an activity I'm okay with you skipping every now and again. But if you've got leaders attending, I don't know, a corporate party or a networking event where some important members of your team are going to be there, that's where you need to be. You need to put yourself in places where you can be seen and be liked by the right people, not just by everybody. Because at the end of the day, your work bestie isn't the person determining if you get that promotion. It's your boss's boss. Speaking of your boss, the person who truly holds the entire future of your career at this company in the palm of their wee little hand is your boss. Your relationship with your boss and how your boss perceives you, guys, is literally everything. If your boss believes in you and thinks you're fantastic, they're gonna advocate for you when it's time to start proposing year-end promotions. They're gonna be the person who defends you when someone else tries to complain about you. If your boss is in your corner, your career is freaking set. So basically what I'm saying is you need to get your boss to like you, and how you do that is by being highly reliable, which means you have an incredible say-to-do ratio. It means the quality of your work is pretty strong. It means you're humble enough to admit when you don't have the answers, but you're not constantly bombarding your boss with questions that realistically you could Google or figure out by yourself. And it means that you blow a little bit of smoke up your boss's ass. That's kind of what it means. You thank them for all these opportunities. You thank them when they give you feedback. You thank them a minimum twice a week. That's what your boss wants. One of the toughest pills I've ever swallowed about the corporate world that I really started to see when I worked in human resources was that doing great work doesn't mean you're getting rewarded for your great work. You're really only getting rewarded for what people see you doing. and it sucks. So here's the thing, you could be working on a zillion things, working like 85 hours a week. If nobody knows what your name is attached to, it's not helping your career. So what you need to focus on is making sure that your work is highly visible. That means you need to be asking your boss to be put on projects that you know are going to be seen by senior leaders, ideally at a global or international level. So ask for those specific stretch opportunities. But more specifically, when it comes to your day-to-day work, it means you need to be sharing out your wins and achievements really regularly so your boss has nonstop visibility into what you're doing. It all goes back to your boss as your biggest advocate. If your boss sees that you're producing high quality, high impact work and you are regularly updating them on it and not just assuming they know what's going on, because spoiler alert, most times they have no fucking clue what's going on in your corporate world or what's going on in your email inbox, it's gonna save your life. Here's how I recommend doing that. At the end of every week, you're either gonna have a one-on-one meeting with your boss where you provide weekly updates on all of the important things that you're working on, even if it's just a 5-minute update. And if you don't really have a culture of doing one-on-one meetings or you don't like to use those meetings for updates, send an email. And I like to send like a weekly summary or even a bi-weekly summary email where I list out everything that I've been working on, the step status of where those things are, and then quotes from the business about how happy they are, quotes from my stakeholders about how happy they are. And then it's another opportunity for me to call out any potential roadblocks. So if I'm working on a project, it's going well, I'm getting good feedback, but I haven't heard back from finance and I need their approval, I flag it to my boss in that email. A, so my boss knows that I'm on top of it. B, so that if this does cause a delay, my boss knows that I was aware of it and it wasn't my fault. And C, it shows my boss that I'm open to their feedback and criticism. Because they may come back and say, finance hasn't heard back, I'm gonna go deal with it. Thank you for raising it to me. The more your boss knows as far as visibility into your work, the more they can advocate for you and the more they can help remove blockers, which at the end of the day is gonna help you get ahead and achieve more. And on that note, every single time you get a nice message from someone about how great it is to work with you, literally forward that to your boss. I used to make a joke of it and I would send it to my boss and be like, LOL, look how loved I am, with a bunch of heart emojis. And it was just like a little thing we did, but it actually helped me get promoted because my boss nonstop heard wonderful feedback about me. Yes, because I was really good at what I did, but also because I made sure he saw all of the amazing feedback I was getting. If you truly want to get promoted and survive for real in this corporate world, it's a good idea to get involved in the office-based work. Now, every office has a different culture, and this is especially different if you're in a remote environment, but usually every single company has like some kind of a social committee, an office engagement committee, basically the people who maybe organize lunches, happy hours, events, all of that. Get involved in those things. First of all, there's always an executive sponsor that's working on these, and it gives you amazing access to executive leadership, which boosts your likability and visibility. It helps you network with people you maybe otherwise wouldn't work with. It's another notch on your resume to say, hey, look how involved and wonderful I am in my work. But it also gives you an opportunity to go deep on the company's culture and show that you're an advocate for that culture. Speaking of the office, you should 100% start being seen working. That might sound silly. I know people who work really hard, like really hard. They have amazing outcomes. They're good at what they do, but they spend so much of their in-office days walking around the floor and being so social to the point where I even have thought to myself, like, does this person work? Literally every time I see them, they're just chit-chatting with someone. Like, what do they do? It's good to socialize. And I'm gonna get to that in a second about how to socialize in the office, but you don't wanna be the person that is so social that everyone's wondering, how are you working? Make sure for the majority of the workday, you are at your desk looking busy. Even if you are not busy. That might mean you're taking a couple fake phone calls. That might mean you're typing aggressively and it's actually just your shopping list. You need to make sure people perceive you as busy and as important, and you can only do that when you're actually working. Now, with that being said, I do think it's really important that we talk about something I have mentioned before, I think on my podcast a couple months ago, maybe not even on this channel too, but it's the empty coffee cup rule. This is fucking brilliant, guys. So as much as I don't want you socializing nonstop, I do want you making your rounds when you're in the office, saying hello to at least 2 to 3 people every day. How I like to do this is I walk around the office with an empty water jug or coffee cup, and I make it look like I'm walking to go fill it up. And then I stop by someone's desk and I say, oh my gosh, hey, how was your weekend? Good to see you, blah, blah, blah. A 2-minute exchange, and then I'm in and out. First of all, it's great because it's networking, keeps me top of mind, shows that I actually care about other people, but it leaves them wanting more because I'm not over socializing. And if you work in a remote environment, literally just do this over Slack or whatever your messaging system is. Just reach out to people, be like, hey, I was thinking of you, how's your weekend? They're gonna respond. You say, that's awesome, mine was great too, have a good Monday. That's how you close out the conversation while still making it look like you are engaged and a people champion. Another good piece of advice for surviving the corporate world is don't speak like you know something definitively if you don't. There's nothing that's gonna damage your credibility more than you being like, yeah, I know that 100%. I know this for sure. And then someone ends up proving your ass wrong. And I also just like to reiterate that if you really want to survive your corporate life and your corporate job, you need to remember that you are never truly as stuck as you think you are. The job market might be bad. Actually, definitively the job market is bad. It's a kind of shit job market right now. And although it is difficult to find a new job, it is not impossible. Making yourself feel stuck, like you can never leave this job, like you're gonna die at this company, is going to give you much more anxiety than you deserve. So relieve some of that fear and panic, and trust me, it's not worth it. Personally, I'm so for real about you surviving your corporate life. I'm so for real about you getting paid. I'm also so for real that if you have questions about your job hunt, about getting promoted, about office politics, how to communicate more confidently, let me know in the comments, because I'll happily like sit on this freaking floor and make a video about it. This is what I do. This is my business. This is my world. I want to see you succeed and thrive in your career and feel really good about it, y'all. Like that's what it needs to be. So thank you for being here. I hope this video was helpful, and I will talk to you in the next one. Also subscribe. Why aren't you subscribed? You're like, oh my God, are you psychic, girl? How'd you know? No, I know 80% of you aren't subscribed who watch these videos, which is like devastating.